Have you ever wondered how the future of virtual communication might look like? We've come a long way from the days of handwritten letters and rotary telephones. The advent of the internet has revolutionized our lives, and with the rapid evolution of technology, we've seen a seismic shift in the way we communicate. We've moved from emails to instant messaging, video calls, and now we're on the brink of entering an era of virtual touch communication. Virtual touch communication, as futuristic as it sounds, is a technology that could potentially allow us to physically feel interactions in a virtual space. Yes, you heard it right. Physically feel. Think about it. The warmth of a handshake, the comfort of a pat on the back, the love radiating from a hug. Now imagine being able to experience all these sensations, even when you're physically miles apart from the person on the other end. So, how does this work? Well, the answer lies in a groundbreaking innovation called eSkin. This wireless, soft electronic skin is being developed with the aim of enabling interactive touch communication in the virtual world. The idea is to mimic the sense of touch, one of the most intimate and powerful of our five senses, to create a more immersive and realistic virtual experience. We're not just talking about a technological advancement here, we're talking about a revolution in human communication. A world where distance doesn't limit our ability to share physical expressions of care and affection. A world where a mother can cradle her newborn grandchild, even if she's on a different continent. A world where a friend can offer a comforting pat on the shoulder, even if they're in a different time zone. This is the future we're heading towards, a future where technology bridges the gap between physical distance and emotional closeness. A future where the impossible becomes possible and the virtual becomes almost real. Imagine being able to feel a loved one's hug, even when they're thousands of miles away. But how does this virtual touch communication work exactly? Well, let's break it down. The magic is in the technology, specifically sensors and actuators working in harmony. Sensors are like our skin's nerve endings. They detect changes in the environment, such as pressure or temperature. Actuators, on the other hand, are akin to our muscles. They respond to signals from the senses, creating physical actions. In the context of virtual touch communication, sensors detect the user's movements and actions. This information is then translated into digital signals. These signals are sent across the internet to a device at the other end. This is where the actuators come into play. They convert these digital signals back into physical movements or sensations. In essence, they mimic the original touch or action that the sensors detected. Now let's talk about haptic feedback. You might be familiar with it from video games or your smartphone. It's that little vibration or movement that you feel when you press a button or receive a notification. Haptic feedback is crucial in creating a sense of realism in virtual environments. It's what allows us to feel the weight of a virtual object, the texture of a virtual surface, or even the warmth of a virtual hug. In virtual touch communication, haptic feedback takes things to a whole new level. It goes beyond simple vibrations to replicate complex touch sensations. Imagine feeling the pressure of a loved one's hand squeezing yours, or the softness of a virtual pet's fur. It's all made possible by haptic feedback technology. So, to answer the question, how does virtual touch communication work? It's a combination of sensors and actuators working together to detect, translate, and replicate touch sensations. It's haptic feedback technology, creating a sense of realism and immersion in the virtual world. In simpler terms, it's like having a second skin that can feel virtual sensations. But instead of being confined to one physical location, this second skin can reach out across the digital divide, connecting us in ways we've never thought possible before. Why is touch so important in communication though, you might be asking? Well, let's delve into it. Touch is a fundamental human experience, a basic mode of communication that we often take for granted. It's one of our earliest senses to develop, and it remains a crucial part of how we perceive and navigate the world throughout our lives. Picture this. You're consoling a friend who's just received some bad news. You reach out and give them a reassuring pat on the back. That simple act, a brief touch, can convey a depth of empathy and understanding that words may not fully capture. That's the power of touch in communication. It's a language all of its own, capable of expressing a broad spectrum of emotions and feelings, from comfort and love to empathy and reassurance. Now, imagine being able to extend that power of touch beyond the limitations of physical proximity. That's where the potential of virtual touch communication comes into play. In a world where we're increasingly reliant on digital means to connect with each other, especially in long-distance relationships, being able to replicate the intimacy and immediacy of touch could be a game changer. Think about how a virtual hug could bring warmth to a lonely grandparent thousands of miles away, or how a virtual pat on the back could lift the spirits of a friend going through a tough time. These are not just fanciful ideas, but real possibilities that could transform how we maintain and deepen our relationships in a digital age. In the words of anthropologist Ashley Montagu, the skin is the oldest and most sensitive of our organs, our first medium of communication, and our most efficient of protectors. Indeed, by harnessing the power of touch in virtual communication, we could unlock a new dimension of human connection, making our digital interactions feel less distant and more human. So, why is touch so important in communication? Because it transcends words. It's a primal, universal language that speaks directly to our emotions and senses. And in the future, virtual touch communication could be the key to making long-distance communication feel more personal and intimate. So, where could we see this technology being used? Well, the possibilities are as vast as our imagination. Let's start with long-distance relationships. Picture this. You're miles away from your loved ones, but with the flick of a switch, you can feel their touch, their hug, their hand in yours. It's a connection that goes beyond the visual. It's intimate, personal, and incredibly powerful. Virtual touch communication could also revolutionize the world of gaming. Imagine being in a virtual world where you can feel the texture of objects, the impact of your actions, and the physical presence of other players. This would take the gaming experience to a whole new level of immersion, making it more engaging and realistic than ever before. In the realm of online education, virtual touch could enhance the learning experience. Students could feel the texture of an artifact in a history lesson, or the contours of a molecule in a chemistry class. This tactile feedback could provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of the subject matter. Telemedicine is another area where this technology could have a significant impact. Doctors could virtually touch and examine their patients, providing a level of care that matches an in-person visit. This could be particularly beneficial in remote areas, where access to healthcare is limited. Of course, each of these applications comes with its own set of challenges. Privacy and security concerns, technological limitations, and the need for robust internet connections are just a few of the hurdles that need to be overcome. However, with the rapid pace of technological advancement, it's only a matter of time before these issues are addressed. In essence, virtual touch communication opens up a world of possibilities. It has the potential to bring us closer to each other, to enrich our online experiences, and to bridge the gap between the virtual and the physical world. The possibilities are virtually endless. What does the future hold for virtual touch communication? As we delve into the realm of possibilities, we can't help but get excited about the many breakthroughs that are just on the horizon. Imagine a world where virtual touch communication is not just a novelty, but a routine part of our everyday lives. With advancements in technology, we could see more realistic haptic feedback, making virtual interactions feel almost indistinguishable from physical ones. The sensations of a handshake, a pat on the back, or even the feeling of raindrops on your skin could all be replicated with astounding accuracy. Now let's take it a step further. What if we could replicate more complex sensations? The warmth of a hug, the chill of a snowflake, the tickle of a feather. These are sensations that go beyond simple touch. They involve changes in temperature, pressure, and texture, all of which are challenging to simulate. But with the rapid pace of innovation in this field, who's to say it's impossible? And it doesn't stop there. Integration of virtual touch communication into everyday devices is another fascinating prospect. Imagine smart clothes that could mimic the feeling of a loved one's touch, or a smartphone that could emulate the texture of different materials. The possibilities are endless, and the potential applications are vast. From gaming and entertainment to healthcare and education, virtual touch communication could transform the way we interact with the digital world. For long-distance families and friends, it could bring a new level of intimacy and connection. For people with disabilities, it could open up access to experiences they might otherwise be unable to enjoy. In conclusion, the future of virtual touch communication is brimming with potential. It's a future where technology doesn't just connect us, but also brings us closer together, replicating the most human of all interactions, touch. In the not-too-distant future, a virtual hug may feel just as good as a real one,